Okay, sweet. I just cleared a bunch of stuff off my phone. It took so long. Okay, I ran out of storage. Okay, where were we? Yeah. So clearing the path for something new because the old thing is not aligned with your truth. The path was ending. You saw that the path was ending, and or maybe you do now. And it's because there's something new coming in that's more aligned with your path. And this may be something that you're searching for, that you're kind of holding out for. And you might have been searching for a while. Part of this is soul work, because that period of time when you're alone, without a partner, it's really a time of working on yourself and really maturing as a person, emotionally maturing, processing a lot of things from your past relationship, kind of unpacking some of that wounding and, like, heartbreak or disappointment or resentment or whatever that you're carrying from the last situation. It really gives you time to kind of process, integrate, and release that, so that when you do meet the person that's more in alignment with you, you're healed and able to love yourself, and therefore able to love them, because there's space in your heart, because you're not carrying all of this like shadow energy from the past. And it seems to me like there's this very affluent energy here, which could be a indicator of your partner. They could be very successful. They could be very rich. They could be just a real, really accomplished, or a master of what they do. So this could be kind of the energy that you're attracting, or yeah, it's like this is like what you're manifesting. Maybe this is what you're looking for in a partner. Maybe this is what's coming in, and you don't. This is not what you requested, but that sounds good. I don't know, but it does seem like this is the energy that's going to fulfill you. That would be a suitable long-term partner, somebody who's really going to provide stability in your life, someone who's smart, who's experienced. They're not a rookie that's immature, like what it seemed like the last energy was. This one is very mature. They've been around the block. They have worked hard to achieve what they've achieved, and they have found success and fulfillment and comfort. And yeah, it's just like a more mature energy. It's very satisfied, and yeah, Nine of Cups to support that too. So this is someone who's like a real leader, who's very benevolent and kind, because they've been through these experiences. Now they've kind of had their success, and they're ready to give back to others who are in need of support. And this is somebody who's really reliable, really someone really good to have in your corner, who's like a real rock to support you. And maybe this is something that you've always desired. And maybe that's kind of like that energy really is a good match for yours, that would be compatible with you. Um, Someone who is powerful in their ability to create and manifest what they want in the world, um, who's not afraid to speak out, to um, have responsibility and um, make difficult decisions, someone who creates from the heart and um, really has a good head on their shoulders and um, a strong belief in themselves and a healthy self-esteem. Um, I think that's what inspires you, and that's what you seek out in other people to inspire you. And because I think these areas that you seek in a partner, if that is the case, if I'm correct about that, are areas that you wish to grow in. And yeah, it's an area of growth, and it is a karmic um, lesson. So, um, learning how to cultivate that energy in your life and bring that energy into your life maybe is needed. And kind of developing more of um, the values of that energy, um, which is very um, hardworking, very um, open minded, um, protective, abundant, and yeah, just very powerful energy of um, really standing in one's personal power and having confidence in oneself, and a lot of self acceptance. Um, Being able to look at your failures and shortcomings and just accept them for what they are. Um, I think that that's something you may want to kind of look at within yourself, because really what we seek out in a partner are things that we wish we had, right? So, um, yeah, thinking about how to cultivate that energy in yourself. Because ultimately, love is about um, loving yourself. That's, you only love somebody else as much as you love yourself. Um, yeah, and that's, I think, part of the lesson is yeah, believing in your own abundance and ability to succeed, your own ambitions, and being realistic and pragmatic, and um, taking the steps to be strategic and be measured in your approach, um, and achieving your dreams. Okay, so I think that the karmic piece is um, about really embracing your creative power and harnessing that. And that's going to take some exploration, some, trying different modalities for creativity, and really finding new ways to explore, like bring out um, different sides of yourself, and really be unafraid to um, just express yourself openly without judgment. I think that's going to really bring you closer to yourself and closer to a like the ability to let your guard down a little bit. We have the Four of Pentacles, and this can be clinging to material things. This could be clinging to anything, really. Like, it comes ultimately from a place of insecurity and fear for like losing attachments that you have. Fear of being left out in the cold. And we also, it's called by this Lamb card, which is very much about, like, the innocent, gentle, fresh. Yeah, lambs are so sweet and gentle. Like, it's like this kind of vulnerable side that's like the soft underbelly of like your character. And I think because you come from this like really gentle, vulnerable and innocent, like sweet energy, I think you may protect yourself by clinging on to people or things, material possessions, money, what like um, yeah, things in the material world maybe kind of are a mechanism to protect yourself when you're feeling vulnerable and or clinging on to people. Just kind of trying to grab on to whatever makes you feel safe, to avoid feeling exposed. And I think that kind of this creative work to bring out your um, sense of power is going to kind of combat that tendency, because you're not going to feel like a baby lamb anymore. You're going to feel like a powerful creator, like a lion. Which is the energy that kind of, becomes this King of Pentacles, is that lion energy, the one that's really going to get out there and do the thing and take those strides and make those decisions and do the hard work and not be afraid to make mistakes and have a learner's mindset. That's what's going to get you closer to your goals, and that's what's going to get you closer to a romantic fit that is in alignment with the growth trajectory you're on. Okay, let's find a little bit here. I know we're doing way too many cards. I don't know, I got really into the spread. Okay, so I think that you're a little bit burnt out. You have been kind of following a path for a long time now. You've been in this little bit emotionally detached state where you're kind of focused on what's in front of you, and there's a bit of a lack of excitement or passion or just interest. Like, it's very rigid and like bland, and it's like you're either carrying a lot of burden from the last from your past, or just this tedium of being in this slow moving energy that just feels like it's like repetitive and it's not changing, and there is growth happening, but it's very slow and it's very hard to observe. But there is a lot being built during this. But it can be very like a rigid, confining kind of energy that I think is weighing you down a bit. I think that maybe the tedium kind of energy is really just bogging you down and like kind of taking away the joy and excitement. You know, I think also maybe you could be carrying some insecurities from past relationships from this kind of shadowy, illusory energy that I had at the beginning, like that maybe left you kind of blind to the truth of a situation, um, because there was so much uncertainty about um, the truth of somebody else's feelings. Um, Maybe seeing yourself in a muddied perspective from the truth, from like the objective reality, but kind of seeing a warped perception of yourself because of how things went down. Um, or maybe you're just in a situation, romantic situation right now where things have kind of gone stale, and it's kind of starting to wear on you. It's kind of building up, and you could also be really overworking yourself, you know, towards a goal or maybe at work. Um, that is also the Knight of Pentacles is also an indicator of, you know, hard work and dedication to what you're doing. Um, and you may just be feeling burnt out from focusing heavily on um, just grinding and not giving yourself enough time to just relax and rest and tend to your own self-care. You may be pushing yourself too hard, and I'm also getting a vibe of um, just like being a bit emotionally detached, like, you know, maybe being a bit afraid to put yourself out there, um, afraid to make the first move. um, there's definitely some self-doubt coming through with this card. Not enough, the everyone story. So yeah, feeling like you're not good enough, or you don't have enough to offer, or you know, that person wouldn't be interested, so I'm not gonna bother hitting on them. You know, it's really working on that, you know, your own like beliefs about limitations, um, limiting beliefs, recognizing when you have them, when they're holding you back, and when they're just tainting your perspective of the world and yourself. Um, I think, yeah, again, with this one, I love these cards. It's okay. You're not supposed to be doing anything right now. So I think, you know, with love, with relation to love, that could indicate, like, you know, even if nothing's going on right now and you've been in a holding pattern, like, maybe that's exactly where you're supposed to be. Maybe right now you need to focus on yourself, to work out something so that you're healed, so that you're in your best self, you're in your best, like living your best life, so you're ready for love when it comes along, you know, so that you're like fucking good to go. You know, it could, if it is relation to you, like, you know, pushing yourself too hard, working yourself too much, you know, really trying to be easy on yourself. Not Just give yourself time to take a break, and you don't have to push yourself constantly. Like, I feel like there is definitely this masculine energy happening where you're kind of go go go, working on a lot of different things right now, maybe spreading yourself too thin. So yeah, just, I think definitely being easier on yourself and having more grace and self-compassion is important right now. We've got the Nine of Wands, which can be kind of a defensive, kind of a tired, a little bit. Sometimes it can indicate regret. And we got the Lovers too. So in love, it could be, you know, maybe regret about how things have gone down in the past. Maybe just acknowledgement of maybe a mistake that was made in the past, and yeah, I think there's kind of an implied like new awareness about maybe a weakness or a mistake. It can also indicate kind of you've come this far, so you're sticking to your guns and pushing through with kind of the current strategy and not switching gears. So just be careful about stubbornness, and if you are feeling some type of way about things that happened in the past, just finding a way to look at them where you're not taking it personally, but just seeing things objectively and not like from a perspective of just self-acceptance, that you were doing the best you could with what you knew at the time. And if you realize that you don't what your decisions in the past don't resonate anymore, that if you think that that's not a reflection of who you are, or you were operating with like old perceptions and beliefs, and those don't hold true anymore, being able to let that go and not hold on to that identity of the person who maybe made these mistakes, but understanding that those experiences happened for a reason, because if you made a mistake, it's because there was something you didn't know that you needed to learn, and by making that mistake you learned. And sometimes people get hurt in the process, and that doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you human, and being able to look at those things and really what came up here is integrate the shadow. So really doing some shadow work and exploring some of the darker aspects of the psyche, some of the more difficult emotional regions to kind of delve into, where you've been hurt, where you've been abandoned, those kinds of things. Where do your fears with love, all that kind of stuff. So really, cleaning up some of those loose ends that you may still be hanging on to. Release the petals. So these petals of this rose that is no longer a rose. It's just petals in your hand, and it's time to release them and grow something new. I got slow again, so it's a journey you're on here. This is not a quick, abrupt change. This is something that's been a long road, and I think that you've been very got ingenuity. So I'm kind of feeling like I think that you've used some ingenuity with how to overcome struggle and really become a master of your own mind and heal yourself. And I think that you've come up with some novel, ways of thinking about things, or viewing the world, and really having a healthy, balanced view of yourself and others. And being able to acknowledge the multiple perspectives at play in a situation, and have respect for each differing perspective, even though they may conflict with one another, or they may be completely opposing, but they can both be true at the same time. And having that kind of higher level of awareness, that's just more understanding, emotionally understanding, accepting, just more mature, moving away from this Page of Cups energy that was at the beginning kind of relating to the past, and kind of exiting this dark region you've been kind of traversing out of. I'm not seeing like any abrupt changes. Like, this is very much showing like a slow, gradual change over a long time. There's not an abrupt kind of sudden, fast-moving nature about this. Not at all. It's very slow and steady, and it's growth. It's long-term growth. It takes a long time. These are like major lessons, major shifts in your consciousness, and they don't happen overnight. They happen with like slow and steady progress, like slow improvement, slow but lasting shifts. Okay, I think that's everything. Yeah, the final card is just, I think, again, like kind of I think that it's possible that you feel defeated in love. You may have felt that way in the past. And, maybe you don't feel that way right now, but maybe you have felt that way in the past, and that still lingers inside you, of like that memory of feeling that way, of feeling like you've given up on love, and being treated poorly, being discarded, or ignored, or taken for granted, just treated poorly. And like this severe disharmony of what that feels like. I think that that's been maybe, or it was, a dark tunnel that you have crossed. And yeah, final card. I think it's been a long process, which it appears from what I was looking at before, that it's been a long journey through this, out of this tunnel, like, this boat here going from one side of the river to the other side, or the lake to the other side of the lake. You've been moving through this energy, and it's not like a death, it's not like a tower. It's a slow movement from one space to another. And the last card is, in the darkest of hours, when all seems to be lost, comes the magic of light. So you're coming out the other side of this kind of healing, self-reflection journey, and you're coming out with a new sense of power and creative control, and this new ability to manifest and create and take an idea from your mind and make it reality. That whole process from start to finish. That masculine energy at work of really taking action and creating things from your heart and taking ownership of them, and not being afraid to really just embrace that wild aspect of yourself. And there's going to be parts of you that you didn't know were there, that you didn't know existed, that you may discover through this process. And I think that self-discovery journey is really what's going to provide the healing, and it's what's going to bring you out the other side. And there may be a soulmate waiting out there. That was the first card, was a soulmate connection. We have the divine feminine, or divine masculine here. We've got the attracting the lover. So if you're not with somebody right now, those are indicative that, at the end of this journey, there could be somebody waiting for you when you're ready, when you've finished the self-healing work that you need to do. And if you are with somebody already, maybe there's just some time for you to focus on some of this self-work, and you don't necessarily need to end that thing. Maybe it is something from your past, just understanding that it needed to be cleared away, and just being able to tie up those loose ends from the past. But I do get the vibe that you did clear that away, and you're starting fresh, or you have been. You've been in this transition phase where you've been kind of working. It's just been karmic soul work, and growth, and while you kind of search for a match, but it'll come to you when the time is right. You don't have to search too hard. I mean, in my case, I met my boyfriend on Hinge. I actually did have to download Hinge, talk to about 30 frogs before I found the prince. But I did have to do a bit of work myself. I had to get off my ass and fucking look, because I didn't for a long time, and I didn't believe that there was anyone out there that really had all the qualities I was looking for. And it, I didn't believe that I was ready. I didn't feel emotionally available for a long time. I didn't want to open up. I didn't feel confident enough in myself because of things that have happened in my past recently. But I just decided to just give it a shot and see. And, when you meet somebody that is right for you, they make you feel comfortable. And you can just be yourself with them. You don't have to be anything else. And you don't have to feel insecure. And you don't have to feel like you're not good enough. Because they make you feel good enough. They make you feel like you're everything they want, everything they need. And that just being you is enough. And, we forget that when we're in toxic situations for a long time. We get treated really poorly by somebody. We forget what it feels like to be loved properly. And that's why it's so important, with my situation with my boyfriend. Like, we both just went through a long period of individual healing where we were single on our own for about 5 years. I was for 3 years. And I think that was absolutely huge for both of us because we both grew like tremendously and worked on ourselves and really became very independent and self-reliant and just able to take care of ourselves. And that was like, I'm a totally new person because of how much I've learned from being on my own and not having anyone there for me when a lot of shit went down in my life, like a lot of shit, like crazy shit. And I learned how to really be my own support system and not rely on another person to outside of myself to do that for me. And I think that was huge. And I think that, sometimes that time we take, even if we are looking for love, there's always things that we have to work on within ourselves. And, I'm lucky that I was able to find love, even though I still have things that I really need to work on. So, I don't know, it'll happen when the time is right. Definitely putting yourself out there and not being afraid to see what happens is good. But also, if it's not time yet, it's not time yet. And focusing on what you want to attract in, because you are in a period of attraction. So being clear with the universe, setting the intention of what you do want to bring in with your manifestation, like imagining not the kind of person you want to come in and save you, because you need to be saved, but imagining the qualities that you possess that you would like to see mirrored in another person, and what qualities maybe you want to work on that you'd love to be inspired by somebody else with those qualities, so that you can grow. And that's kind of the whole point, I feel like. Not looking for things in somebody else, but thinking about how the kind of person you want to be, and the person who's in alignment with those growth ideals will find their way to you when you are on a path of self-actualization. Somebody who's in alignment with that path will come along eventually. And they'll be attracting you in just the same. So so I guess in summary, you've got big things coming. There's a real turn, especially the imagery with these cards. There's a lot of emphasis on Easter and spring. I think that could be a crucial time, or a time of change in your love life. So stay tuned for that. Just be easy on yourself. Let yourself feel like, embrace your creative force to kind of bring out a bit more passion, and really push yourself to put yourself out there. And don't be afraid of fucking it up. Don't be afraid of how you look. Just do it. Just do it. And if you are embarrassed, or you feel like you failed, just let it go. Because I embarrassed myself a lot, and I failed a lot of things, but the most freeing thing is being like, I don't fucking care. I'm really proud of myself. I tried really hard and things didn't work out the way that I planned, but I'm proud of myself for putting myself out there and taking those risks. And even though I failed and it didn't work out, I'm really proud of myself for even trying, because I could have just been too afraid to even try and just held myself back, but I didn't. And, for that, I give myself a pat on the back. Even if nobody else can see it, I don't care. I see it, and I'm proud of me. Having that kind of mindset. Yeah, I think focusing on your own self-love, seeing what new parts of yourself you can discover and fall in love with. We're always in a process of becoming, right? So there's always new parts of ourselves to discover that we didn't even know existed. Um, as we ascend, like, more of the soul comes online and we become able to access it. And it's really cool. I've been through that experience in the last couple of years and just being like amazed at like these parts of myself that I didn't know were there, and they just, like, I developed them, like I nurtured them, I practiced them, and then they became more and more developed. And it was really cool to kind of create a safe space for myself to do that, where I don't judge myself, and um, where I challenge myself. Um, yeah, finding a way you can do that so you can find new parts of yourself to fall in love with that allow you to feel powerful and allow you to create new things. Can you stop fucking blabbing? I'm going on forever. Like, fuck this. Okay, I'm done.